The White House finally acknowledged last week that the president did not make a call to the Libyan government on that night when 4 Americans died in Benghazi. Republicans wanted to know why. I want to ask you, you were the Deputy National Security Advisor. It's my understanding, we learned last week, that the president got a briefing early in the afternoon and seemed to have no more participation in anything. We know he didn't talk to the Secretary of Defense or didn't talk to the CIA chief after that. Well, what's the president doing that night?
Boy, I don't remember it that way, Bob. And in fact, the letter that we sent to Capitol Hill earlier this week said that Secretary of State Clinton called the Libyans on behalf of the president, and we carried out a very robust reaction to that situation at the direction of the president.
Well, were you briefing him on what was happening?
Throughout the night, absolutely. Not only briefing him, but we are convening the United States government, the Deputies Committee and the National Security Council, and we worked this throughout the night. The Secretary of Defense, the Chairman of the Joint Chiefs, and the Vice Chairman of the Joint Chiefs worked this throughout the night. But here's the important thing here, I think, Bob, which is we did everything we could that night, which, by the way, was borne out by the Accountability Review Board, which Secretary Clinton stood up to look at this. They said that the Washington-based effort was a good effort that did everything it possibly could have. But the question from the president now is, what have we done to make sure this does not happen again? And he's demanded of us, his team, be that at State Department, be that at the White House, or be that at the Pentagon or the intelligence community, to make sure this never happens again, and he won't put up with it.
One of the reasons that Congress is holding up your nominations of both John Brennan for the CIA and Chuck Hagel at the Defense Department, they tell us that there were 70 emails that went back and forth during that week on what Susan Rice should say on this broadcast and on the other Sunday talk shows the following Sunday, and that somewhere along the way the idea that this was the work of terrorists, what happened in Benghazi, was taken out. Why don't you, number one, give the senators those emails and let them find out what they say they want to find out about this, and who in fact did take the connection to al-Qaeda and the terrorists out of those talking points?
Well, I think there is an ongoing effort between the administration and the intelligence committees to resolve exactly what they need to get, in addition to everything else we've already done, Bob. 20 hearings or briefings with members of Congress, 10,000 pages of documents that we've provided. And so we'll resolve whatever it is on this question of emails.
You'll give them the emails?
We'll resolve it. I don't know exactly how it will get resolved, but we'll resolve it. In fact, I think we're well on our way to resolving it. But here's what I don't want to do. I don't want to have our Director of Central Intelligence Agency, our nominee, John Brennan, 30-year veteran of national security matters in this town, a person of unbelievable character and commitment and patriotic feeling for this country, hung up in the midst of the situation we have right now. Threats from North Korea, threats in Afghanistan, threats in Pakistan, threats in North Africa. Let's get the President's Director of Central Intelligence over into the seat so he can work these matters. Let's not let this become another political football in a town that at the moment seems very focused on political football, a little less focused on national security and middle-class families the way it should be.
I have to ask you quickly, you're talking about the director of the CIA. Do you mean, is it also as critical for your nominee to head the Pentagon?
No question about it. No question about it. And what we just sent up, the letter we sent up in response to questions on Benghazi, as I said, was the latest interaction and 10,000 pages of documents that we've provided to the Congress on this matter. The President's focus is, okay, let's account for what happened. Let's reform and make sure it never happens again. Let's get our guys in the position so they can help us make sure it never happens again.
And you said you'd let them see these emails, the 70 emails regarding
Look, there's
the
an ongoing effort. I'm not going to negotiate that here with you, Bob, but there's an ongoing effort, and I think we're making very good progress on that.
Mr. Chief of Staff, thank you so much.
Thanks for having me, Bob. I'll be happy to come back.